Welcome to the second episode in the CAD video training series for ARMS. In this episode, what we're going to be taking a look at is actually logging units on and off of CAD and the various different ways you can do that. Now, for the most part, we have two standard ways of logging a unit on and off. There's a more automatic way, which is going to use some preset settings from the setup menu in ARMS. And the other way is CAD unit maintenance, which will allow you to manually log on and set up your units on the fly as you are pulling them onto shift. And here we are. So the main menu that we're going to be looking at here today is going to be underneath the functions menu. Now you'll notice right below functions, I've got log on off units. And when that shoots off to the side, I've got log on units, log off units, CAD unit maintenance, log on vehicles, log off vehicles, and fuel inspect vehicle. The ways we're going to be using this is the first two are related. You'll notice they also have shortcut keys of F2 and F3, so I can easily automatically do these just by tapping a key on my keyboard rather than going through this menu. But what I'm going to look at first is logging on and logging off the units using this first two options. And then what we'll do is we'll take a look at actually logging on and off the units through CAD unit maintenance, and we'll also take a look at vehicles as well. So first things first, let's go ahead and click on log on units. That's going to open up our log on units screen. Now, this screen is made to help you quickly log on an entire shift. So when I'm looking at this, I first need to fill out my top three rows here. You'll notice it automatically put in the date and the time. Time's automatically going up, so I don't have to worry about doing this too quickly. In my shift, I'll pull that down and I'll have all the different shifts that have been set up by my ARMS administrator. If I need to add something to this, my ARMS administrator has that ability to do so. So if I click on, let's just say, for example, here, A shift, and then I'm going to log them into a certain location. So basically, what's their starting point? Where are we beginning their shift? So for mine, let's just say I was putting them into the police department. So I'm logging on everybody the beginning of the day for their shift at the police department. That's going to automatically put in the address for me. Below there, you'll notice I have a little gray box. You can probably barely see it there. This gray box is a cyclical logon mechanism that's going to allow you to log on many units at once. So let's go ahead and go through that so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. When I go into unit, I can click my down arrow to see a list of all of my different units, or I could just type in my unit number. So if I said, for instance, 9510, which is Michael Bryant, I can put that in there, hit tab, and that's going to put him into that list here. Now notice one of the ways I know I'm logging on somebody correctly and that there's no problems is that their name will automatically complete out here, and I'll see their name in the officers list as well. If you ever don't see that, if it's blank, either your CAD unit may not be set up to automatically log on correctly, or the employee may be not set up to automatically log on. There's a couple different things there that can go on. But mainly, if we see the name and we see it in officers as well, we're good. We don't have to worry about anything else. Now you notice below there, I've got several fields. I can put in keys, radio information, beats, vehicle information, and as well as keep track of their mileage. So if I had a key ID, so let's say I was assigning key set A1 to Michael Bryant for his shift, and I was assigning radio 65 to him, I can type that information in there. My next menu I have here is a drop down for different beats. So I can say he's being assigned to the A beat or the B beat. Now this is informational, but you can also implement the beats to automatically dispatch people. So for instance, if I pick beat A here for Michael Bryant, then if a call occurs in beat A, the dispatcher can decide whether or not they want to automatically assign Michael Bryant to it based on him already being in that beat. That is a setting we'll talk about in a little bit here, but that is a function you can use, and that's how you set that up, is just by assigning them a beat as you're logging them in. Below there, you'll notice I can put in my vehicle. So once again, I can either type in the vehicle name or I can just click it out of the list. So if I pull up my Crown Vic here, unit 410, it's going to automatically put in my previous mileage and my starting mileage as being the same thing. If they're not, for whatever reason, I could change this and say maybe they drove 10 miles somewhere. So I'm going to change it to 80813. Once I have my information for the unit in this gray box, how I want it to be for this unit being logged in, then I can hit next. When I do that, you're going to notice everything blanks out here. My unit now has a row in the selected units for logon field. And then I can come up here and it automatically put my cursor back up in the unit to where now I could begin logging on the next person. So if I typed in a B, it's going to automatically pull up my first person with the last name starts with B here. So I'm going to pick Leslie Banahan. That's going to automatically put her in here. I could assign any keys, radio, beat information, assign her to a vehicle as well. Once I get all that information in, I hit next. So I'm building this list. I'm building my whole shift of officers here in this one screen. Once I've built everybody into here that I need, then I can hit save, and that's going to log on those two units for me. So you'll notice here I have 9510, which is my Michael Bryant, and then I have my 003, which is my Leslie Banahan unit, are now logged in and ready to be dispatched. Now, logging them off is very similar. So now if I go into functions up at the top and go back to log on off units and go into log off units, you'll see now I have a very similar screen. But when I hit this unit menu here, I'm only going to see the people that are logged in. I don't see everybody in the system right now. So if I wanted to log those two units back off, I just click the unit. It's going to automatically check the mileage for me. Once again, I can change it if I need to. And then I hit next. And then I hit the menu again, pull up Michael Bryan again. Now I'm creating my log off shift. And once I hit save, it's just going to log those two units off of my CAD screen here. So now I have logged those units on and back off again, just using that functions log on off section here, either F2 or F3, to perform that function in the system. The next item we're going to take a look at is the CAD unit maintenance menu. Now, when I come up here to functions and go to log on, log off, the third option we have there is CAD unit maintenance. Now, the first thing I want to explain is why would we use CAD unit maintenance? We've already talked about how to log on units and how to log them off using the F2 and F3 keys above, but what would we use CAD unit maintenance for? Very simply, if you're using your normal log on and log off systems, then you can use CAD unit maintenance to actually modify those units that are already on shift. So let's say, for example, you wanted to add a vehicle to a unit that's already on shift, or you wanted to change an officer that was assigned to a unit number. There's a couple different ways you can use the CAD unit maintenance, but what I want to show you first is sort of the basic log on, log off that we can do here. So when I come into CAD unit maintenance, it's going to open up this whole window. Now there's a lot going on here. The basic way to look at it is kind of in three parts. The top part here, we have all of our units listed alphabetically. Below there we have our officers in the lower left-hand corner list, and then our vehicles in the lower right-hand corner list. Using these three, we can combine them together to modify and update our units as we see fit as we're moving through, whether or not the unit's logged on or logged off, whatever the case may be there. What I want to first draw your attention to though here is the log on, log off menu. So when I come in here and I say I want to log somebody on, this screen will allow me to begin picking what units I'm logging on. Now, in the situation that you're logging on many units at once, some users find this useful to be able to just check the names of the different units they want to log in. Notice at the top we have the same information that we still need to fill out. We need to check our shift, we need to assign our location. Once we have that and our units checked, we can then hit next at the top of the screen. That's going to allow us to now customize these units a bit more than what we could do a second ago in the previous logon window. From here, you'll notice all of my units are listed along with all the different officers I could also join to these units. So let's say, for example, here, Jason Brown is going to be doing a training shift with Michael Bryant. So when I check next to Jason Brown, I can then assign him to unit 9510. So now, not only is Michael Bryant in that unit, but Jason Brown is as well, and we're going to be tracking their times both under the unit number of 9510. We can add on as many officers we want. We can customize even other ways, such as adding in vehicles. So I could go ahead and add in a vehicle to that same unit this way just by hitting the drop-down menu and selecting the vehicle from there. And notice, just like in the previous screen, it's going to try to pre-fill out my mileage for me, though I can change it if I need to. Once I've made any of the customizations that I need to from here, then I can go and hit save, and that will go ahead and log that unit on using those specifications that we just input. So we have a lot more ability to customize these units when we're logging them on through this method. Now, logging off looks very similar. So if I select log off from that CAD unit maintenance screen, once again, we can only see the units that are currently logged in. We can check the names of the people that we want to log out, just like this. And when we get done, we can just hit next. Take care of any vehicles that may be getting logged off at the same time. We're just going to put in a quick mileage here. So let's say we drove a couple miles during this shift. And once we have that, we can go ahead and hit save, and that's going to log that unit back off again. So notice, once again, we just have another way to log off our units, just like we logged on our units a second ago. Very similar, both methods. All roads will lead to home, meaning you can use whichever method you like most. Some people find other forms faster depending on what types of shifts they're logging on. So we offer both options in case you want to utilize them within your department.